I think, many of us think we understand stress, or we understand the concept of stress, but the vitality part is a little interesting. When we start to think about what is vitality, that is like the vital life force. It's what the Yogis kind of call the Prana, the ability to evolve. It's through vital life force and Prana that we're actually able to raise and elevate consciousness. Vitality, I think, literally means that which gives life. And prana is the vital force of the universe. And it's through yoga we can cultivate vitality. And I think that's probably one of the great attributes of doing yoga, especially Kundalini Yoga, that uses so much breath work and meditation to elevate our reservoir, to cultivate our reservoir of vitality. Kundalini Yoga is a distinct spiritual psychological framework that takes yoga just beyond this whole concept of postures or asanas and breath and pranayama and meditation. And it moves you into almost an entire yogic lifestyle where you're not really doing yoga, you're actually living the experience of yoga by virtue of these practices and by the virtue of the increased vitality that you have. There's so many ways to look at vitality. One way they define it in yogic terminology is it's a property of consciousness. It's the intelligence of your body and mind working together. Because vitality there's physical vitality, but there's also mental vitality, and eventually, as we discover, there's something like spiritual vitality, the energy, the ability to express both the fullness of the body, mind, and spirit. It actually comes from the soul, the power of the soul to become radiant and bright. And this is done through this conscious cultivation of various habits, really, in both the body and the mind. The habit of exercise and good diet and good sleep, that's one physical habit. The mental habits of being able to manage the mind as it interacts with the world around us, how to remain that neutral place of the mind, the habits that we get to remain neutral and be non-reactive. Vitality is a universal gift of consciousness, caliber, and strength. And the thing about stress is that it starts to sap vitality. It takes away your vitality. You can be very strong and very vital, and all of a sudden the stress load gets so great, your vitality just starts to dissipate, and eventually it's not there for you to draw upon. And that's when we have that toxicity and the real problems that cause from prolonged stress or even acute stress, when we don't have the vitality to meet the moment in time. Vitality is when you know yourself, you can be yourself, and you live to your values, virtues, and vision, no matter how life challenges you. So this is why we call this course Vitality and Stress. It's the ideal that understanding these two components and how they do interact, how stress affects your vitality, how vitality can help you manage your stress, overcome your stress, is a key part of the yogic lifestyle. And consequently, most of the people who have problems with stress, even those people who do yoga have problems with stress, it's usually just an indication, hey, it's really time to ramp up the sadhana. It's time to do more of what gives you vitality, which is that personal practice of mind and body and spirit, which we call sadhana, the daily practice, the daily habit of yoga. I really love the analogy, being a Taurus rising. I love this analogy. You have a bank account that you can add to and you draw from. And that's the beautiful thing about Kundalini Yoga, is that every time you're doing sadhana or practice, you're just popping more into that account, and it doesn't go away. It actually accrues interest, so to speak, because as you become more vital, the vitality is easier to increase and to maintain. And stress is the great depleter of that account. It's like a bill that comes due, and the bill that comes due is maybe because you mismanaged some things in your life that you have to pay it. And it's usually paid with those little vitality tokens that we have. And I like the idea of ancestral chi. Each of us have this inherent vitality that we were born with, our constitution. And by working with the physical body, and we can actually manage that constitution too. Good, Karam,
you don't want to touch the principle.
yeah, live off the interest.
We're going to live on the interest, not the principle.
What about the Ayurvedic approach, Good Karam, in terms of this idea of vitality?
Yeah, I mean, through our karmas and what we've chosen this time, we do, in our ancestry, we have that pool, right? We have that reservoir of energy, of chi, of prana. And it's all about management of prana and keeping the prana happy and moving smoothly. And it's really, as with stress, it's about utilizing your resources consciously and not allowing the wildfires of events and emotions to lead us into actions that really deplete our prana, or letting the prana run wild and turn into just energy that moves around, and also known as Vata. Everything has its good and its bad side. I mean, prana can turn into vata, which is prana is vital life force. Vata is the prana when it's not in its healthiest state and it's moving around too much.
That would kind of like lead into the idea of relaxation too, being a way to balance or recover, that type of energy as well too. We haven't really talked about relaxation yet, but we will. Another part of an important concept of working with vitality.
Yeah, I was thinking about the pandemic, and it was pretty crazy, stressful for everybody on multiple levels, but so many gifts, the gift of being forced to feed myself all the time, to feed us, led to much better dietary habits, and the gift of being confined. It's like, well, I guess I'm going to take a walk every day or twice a day to move energy, and the stress of that situation actually engendered some really great changes in my life and good habits that have given me the vitality to meet that challenge. So
yeah, that's such an interesting observation, that we had this big world global experiment really in stress of a certain level for everybody, and how we chose to encounter that stress and how we managed or mismanaged that opportunity as well. That's when they said, alcohol abuse went up, drug abuse went up for some people, suicide calls went up, because the folks who were under the stress didn't have the tools or the ability to restore vitality. They were just depleted.